Moving from one home to another is known to be one of the top stressors in life. Usually that stress dissipates soon after the boxes are unpacked and people get adjusted to their new surroundings. But for one man in Texas, settling into his new house was extremely unsettling. Not long after Corey Davison and his family moved into their new home in Houston, Corey noticed a light fixture swaying, as if someone had pushed it. So he quickly grabbed a camera in hopes of documenting the inexplicable activity.
I was in my dining room and the overhead lamp was moving, and I went to get my camera so I could videotape me eating to see if it would happen again. And as soon as, literally as soon as I hit record, this happened.
My name's Corey Davison. This is my video. I'm a huge skeptic when it comes to ghosts or paranormal stuff. So I was like, I have to record this, try to get it on camera. I had to have other people witness this. When I set up the camera, the chair almost instantaneously moved maybe a foot. I wasn't looking at the chair when it happened. I was setting up the camera. I heard the chair move. I was already in that state of mind, something weird is happening. Is someone pranking me? What's going on? And so I went over to it, I guess nonchalantly, and just kind of pushed it. And then all of a sudden, the chair comes back at me.
Whatever activity is taking place in this guy's house, it seems to have some sort of intelligent control. The chair moves at him rather than away from him. And it does it more than once in this enclosed environment. It seems like it may be trying to communicate, or at the very least, trying to scare this guy.
It seemed like he was ill-prepared for that to happen, so he walks up and he's like, what's going on with this chair? He's trying to see if there's energy around. He's putting his arm in the atmosphere around it to see if it will stir up anything.
He might have unknowingly threatened the poltergeist or spirit in that room by pushing that chair back like he did. And it did seem as if that spirit was reacting directly to that push.
This is Poltergeist 101. They move chairs, they open doors. Sometimes they'll throw something, kitchen utensils or something, but they won't throw it very far. This is all stuff that's within their wheelhouse, and this is a great capture of it.
I have no idea how to explain what would have caused that. So immediately I was like, I need to get the heck out of here.
Watching this video, you might think, okay, his reaction is comical. But if you're in that situation, you're going to be freaked out. Even if you're not terrified, you're going to be concerned. You're going to think, all right, something's here. What do I do about it? Let me remove myself from this spot and regroup. It's the classic fight or flight response.
I had nothing to fight, so I was like, I was kind of shaking. I guess I was scared. I needed to get out of there.
I ran upstairs. I'm in the back room. I'm kind of creeped out right now.
Thinking back now, I was like, I probably should have went outside, get away from there. But I felt like upstairs was safe enough, and I could just, I don't know.
After Corey's encounter in the dining room, things quieted down for a while. But less than a year later, after moving yet again, another eerie event happened when his mom was doing laundry in the garage.
I was in the living room just hanging out, and my mom thought someone was outside. So she got me, we both got our pistols and went outside and didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. Nothing that stood out to me as being okay, whatever.
When Corey came back inside, he checked to see if the motion-activated security cameras picked up something he may have missed. And sure enough, they had.
So it took me forever to find what might have made the noise, but I looked through all the videos recorded, and I come across that. But there's something moving. And that was at 22:04. And whenever she saw that thing, she came in the garage at 22:06.
The fact that they have footage to corroborate their claims certainly lends some credibility to this particular case. And the fact that she heard something strange right when the motion-activated cameras kicked in, that certainly tells me there may be something out in that yard that's hard to explain.
If you look right there, right there.
I went out there, was looking at the places that it should have been according to the camera, and I didn't see anything, didn't hear anything.
See, I'm right here. That's the top of my head, and there's something walking back there.
I just can't explain it. You see something on the camera, but we didn't see anything when we were out there.
You can see me flash my light, and I had been flashing my light everywhere. And see, there's nothing. I didn't see anything while I was there.
And I just kind of boggles my mind.
This apparition seems to be walking around the perimeter, and even in areas where there's IR illumination, it doesn't light up like you see Corey when he's walking around his house. You see the difference of a solid person walking in front of an IR camera as opposed to this other entity that seems to be going around the home.
Whether or not these two incidents are related remains to be seen. But his mom has a feeling the paranormal activity happening around them might have something to do with her.
My mother has a couple of theories about spirits being in our lives. She had a brother who passed away at 10 days old. She's always thought like he's just been around. And part of me thinks if maybe it's my uncle kind of pranking us, you know, like just always being around, like haha, like having fun with us, you know, like being a poltergeist, but not in an evil way.
By the looks of it, this unassuming plot of land in Bear Creek, North Carolina, doesn't seem like much. But the secluded spot has been spooking visitors for more than a century. Known as the Devil's Tramping Ground, this barren circle is said to be where the devil comes to dance and haunt all those who enter it. Recently, a father and daughter team of ghost hunters might have actually captured proof.
There's a legend that the devil rises from hell and uses this circle as his own private thinking area, and nothing grows in that area because his feet are so hot. There actually were some studies done by soil scientists to see why nothing was growing in that area. They actually couldn't find a reason.
Since 1882, the 40-foot wide circle has been at the center of paranormal lore, attracting countless enthusiasts like Kevin Saunders and his daughter Jade, who visited the site in October of 2018.
I'm at the Devil's Tramping Ground in North Carolina. And the legend is that the devil, he will remove you from this circle and you'll wake up in the morning outside the circle.
Hello, my name is Kevin, and I was the one that shot the video at the Devil's Tramping Ground.
There's Jade.
My name is Jade Saunders, and I was there that day.
We've been ghost hunting I've been doing it for about 16 years. We wasn't even ghost hunting at that time. We just simply was recording, walking around.
But as you can see, there have been people here recently. What? Oh, God.
Isn't that weird?
Man, that's weird. That's like the Jesus hands. Looks like they try to burn it. Yeah, these trees here, and this one over here, somebody carved a cross on it. The sap itself is like oozing down the tree. Makes it look really creepy.
In addition to creepy discoveries, Kevin and Jade also felt on edge the entire time they were there.
I just felt like I was in a very, very big crowd. I'm really claustrophobic anyway, so I just felt like there's something sitting on my chest, and I would just say there's too many people around me, but I'm in a very open spot, so I shouldn't feel like that. Weird.
Anxiety levels are really high there.
Yeah.
We definitely felt like we were being watched.
I gotta smell something dead.
Oh, God.
Like a carcass.
Hello? Anybody out here?
As far as Kevin and Jade could tell, there was no one else around that day. But when they got home and reviewed the footage, it seems they might not have been alone after all.
See the daughter in frame, he pans away, and for just a split second, you see in the tree line in the background, something moving. At first it looks bluish, whitish, but it's definitely something that when he pans back, it's not there anymore. and it wasn't there before. When he first arrived, we got a pretty good view of what was around them, so it wasn't a tree, it wasn't a sign, something was back there.
I see here what looks like a traditional capture of a ghost-like mist in broad daylight. It doesn't matter whether you investigate night or day. If there's gonna be phenomena, it will happen. I really like this clip. It shows a classic capture that any paranormal investigator would be really stoked to have.
I didn't even see it the first time I edited the video, and then I had my wife to just kind of approve the video before I posted it on YouTube, and she was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm like, what is that?" And of course, we were like high-fiving each other. I'm like, finally, after 16 years, I caught something on camera.
16 years it took him to catch something. That raises his credibility in my book. And the fact that he is looking for corroboration from other people, rather than saying, I know all the answers. It's a smart thing to do, and more people should investigate like that.
I think the fact that he didn't notice it until reviewing the video adds a little bit of credibility in the respect that he was just going about his business and, oh, he captured something.
We believe it's a ghost, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's got so much movement. The arms are swaying, the legs are moving.
I feel like it really just shows, like, it takes form to something as it goes along.
After they posted the video on YouTube, some viewers thought it could just be a smoke cloud from a vape pen. So Kevin and Jade returned to the Devil's Tramping Ground in efforts to prove otherwise.
We're going to try to debunk this because I'm not trying to trick anybody, I promise.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, well, we might think it's a vape. And we decided to see if we could try it out and match it up.
Go ahead and puff off it, see what it does.
It just goes away so fast. And the thing is, it went so far back. That's why, like, it was like in the wood.
Yeah.
We don't think it was a vape at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we can't get it exact, but it's just too much movement to it.
I was sitting there recreating it over and over with a vape to see if it could even resemble it, and it just did not. Both days, like, weren't windy or anything, so I don't know.
While Kevin and Jade may never know for certain if they captured a ghost at the Devil's Tramping Ground, they agree that it's the most compelling evidence they've seen yet.
Yeah, it was definitely the best capture we ever got.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. I think it was definitely one of the best videos that we've caught. We were just ecstatic about it.
Perched on the northeast coast of Florida is the oldest city in the United States, St. Augustine. Established in 1565 by the Spaniards, this quaint coastal city is packed with history and hauntings.
I've investigated St. Augustine quite a few times, and I do believe it to be a hotbed of paranormal activity. Not only were over 50,000 Native Americans slaughtered there, but hundreds of years later, in the 1800s, there was a huge yellow fever outbreak that killed thousands of European settlers. That city is steeped in death.
For years, ghostly activity has been reported throughout the historic city. From the Spanish fort, where spirits of soldiers have been spotted patrolling the grounds, to the lighthouse near the spot on the Salt Run Inlet, where 2 young girls drowned in the late 1800s.
The St. Augustine Lighthouse is not only one of the most haunted lighthouses in the country, but possibly the world, as reports of knocking or footsteps, and even dark, ghostly entity peeking over the railing at visitors when no one else should be in the building.
And not surprisingly, there's been a plethora of paranormal activity documented in the city's historic graveyards.
When you see cemeteries in St. Augustine, there are tons of people buried there. I mean, there are people buried on top of people.
In January 2019, Amanda and Eric Desad, who regularly watch Paranormal Caught on camera, were walking past the Talamato Cemetery when they captured this inexplicable entity on camera.
I'm Amanda Desad.
And I am Eric Desad.
And I caught a paranormal anomaly at the cemetery.
This floating blue orb appeared just 2 days after a drunk driver plowed through the cemetery wall and damaged the headstone of a boy who died in 1877.
I do tours in St. Augustine twice a night, pretty much every night of the week. And so She came along with me on the tour that night just to get some extra footage of the damage that was done at the cemetery. And when she walked across the street to film the wide-angle shot of the damage to the cemetery is when she actually got the video.
But no one else in the group noticed the orb because it was only visible on the screen of Amanda's camera.
Face to face, like when I took the camera down, you couldn't see anything with your naked eye.
Not convinced of what she saw on the screen, Amanda immediately checked her surroundings.
We normally debunk everything because I'm a super skeptic. So I looked around to see if there was like a laser pointer or, you know, if anybody was doing anything.
But Amanda didn't find anything to account for the hovering bright blue orb.
It's not lens flare, it's not a moth, it's not a lightning bug.
It's not a laser pointer or anything. You can see it's definitely free form floating around.
If this was just a light reflecting on the camera lens, then it would have moved when the camera moves away, but it doesn't. It remains in the same spot no matter where the camera is looking. It's probably something else and probably something more mystical.
Eric and Amanda believe there is a connection between the orb's appearance and the damaged gravestone of the boy.
When we were looking at the video, the orb kept going back and forth through that entrance towards that little boy's grave in the front.
I think that that's a good possibility that it could be a child.
Well, if anything is going to disturb the rest of a departed soul, I would imagine a car plowing into the wall and knocking over the tombstone would be a good start. Certainly a violent act like that might be enough to rattle somebody's eternal slumber.
And according to Eric, this isn't the first time the child's spirit has surfaced.
There's a tree at the entrance, and the boy died in the cemetery by falling out of that tree. So he's the only one that's buried right there in the front of the cemetery like that. And there are lots of sightings based around the tree of the little boy.
From years of experience giving tours in one of the nation's most haunted cities, Eric has some advice on how to capture paranormal activity of your own.
The more pictures you take, the more likely you are to actually get some sort of evidence. And we've gotten quite a few people on our tour to get full body apparition pictures in the cemetery.
It's not all that uncommon for people to pass away in their homes. For the most part, houses with morbid histories show no signs of residual energies. But every so often, a spirit of the deceased remains inside the residence and will make their presence known.
Whoa, okay.
Advice I have for every homeowner is that people live and die, and you're gonna always share your space with energies. There's nothing to be fearful of.
In 2013, a man named Kevin Butcher was found dead inside his home in Halstead, England. His cause of death was unknown. Since then, residents who've lived in Kevin's house have reported hearing footsteps, seeing apparitions, and have felt as though they were being watched. In 2018, Jeff Young and Phil Bradshaw from Ghost Tech Paranormal Investigators paid them a visit to see if they could communicate with the spirit.
My name's Jeff Young. We were called by the tenants of a property to help them find out what was in their home.
Jeff and Phil began their investigation by debriefing the previous and current tenants about the hauntings.
It was about maybe 3 weeks when we first moved in. I was sat in the kitchen. I saw legs walking to the kitchen.
So it was just the bottom half?
Just the bottom half.
There's just noises all over the house, and sometimes I see, well, I think I see things in the hall, like somebody there, but then I look away and there's nothing there.
After interviewing the tenants, Jeff and Phil got to work with an array of ghost hunting gear, including motion detector lights, digital voice recorders, and 4 static cameras.
These investigators followed standard operating procedure by setting up still cameras at every point they could, even so that they overlapped angles, which is great because you can check the different angles to make sure, all right, we've got this covered. It cannot be this or that. And when it comes to paranormal investigating, once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
Kevin, the people that live here, they've heard you and seen you.
Not long after the session began, Phil and Jeff received a clue that Kevin was willing to communicate when a motion-activated light was triggered.
Whoa, okay.
Motion detector lights, or as some people in the field call them, are REM pods. It's a sensor that picks up movement. And they set up one of these pods inside of a room and they ask the energy, can you come forth and let us know that you're here?
REM stands for Radiating Energy Module. Now, this is an important tool in investigations because sometimes a spirit doesn't have enough energy to give you an EVP. It can't touch you, it can't make anything move, it can't drain the heat out of the air. But the REM pods generate a field of EM energy. When something crosses into it, it goes off. It's a good tool because it doesn't require energy, it just requires it to be inside the field.
And just because you die and you're not here anymore, it doesn't mean that you have to leave here. I understand that.
From there, it seemed Kevin was making his presence known.
Myself and Phil, we were upstairs carrying out EVP work. And as we were on the stairs, we heard this noise.
Oh, movement downstairs.
Phil and Jeff went downstairs, but nothing looked out of place. So they reviewed the footage captured by one of the static cameras, hoping to get some answers.
Moving downstairs. You can see the door pop open. And it's actually a solid lock. When you push it, it actually clicks in. You cannot open it. You can jump on the stairs, you can jump on the hallway. That door does not open. Maybe that was Kevin's way of catching our attention to let us know where he was.
It seems like whatever's there has an intelligent sense of what's going on. They know that investigators are there. He's communicating with them. So it seems like you have a pretty good hunt going on there.
But perhaps the most compelling evidence Phil and Jeff captured happened on the stairs itself.
Movement on the stairs.
Okay. We turned our cameras round. I knew something was there. But then, of course, on reviewing the static cams, what we saw on the stairs was a form of an apparition. And it gradually just materializes.
You could imagine that this is a spirit that descends the staircase and stops on the landing, almost as if to listen and observe what's going on. And when they get too close, that phantom just recedes back to where it came from.
That you see the leg and the foot lift up, and you can see that the foot, as it moves, as it walks backwards, there's only one way that went, and that's into the wall.
Early on during the investigation, one of the young ladies actually mentioned that she saw a pair of disembodied legs walk through the kitchen.
I saw legs walk into the kitchen.
And when they captured, hard to see, they're hard to get on camera. So the fact that these guys got anything, even a portion of it, is something else.
When the investigation was over, Jeff and Phil shared their findings with the tenants.
When they saw everything that we had captured, I think they were relieved. I think they felt maybe we're going slightly nuts here. We need some solid sort of proof, and that's why they called us. And I think we did give them all the proof that they needed.
Whoa, okay.
Closed-circuit television cameras in convenience stores are typically used to catch criminal activity, like shoplifters or armed robbers. But one security camera at a store in Minnesota seemed to have nabbed something even more concerning than a thief. Something paranormal.
I'm a firm believer that activity can happen anywhere. And why not a convenience store?
One night in 2017, an employee working at the B-Dale Corner Store and Gas Station in Roseville, Minnesota, called his manager, Matt Murphy, to tell him he'd quit. The next day, when Matt showed up to open the store, he found many items were displaced. Assuming the ex-employee was to blame for the mess, Matt went through the security footage from the night before.
It seems like this could be poltergeist activity. At the very least, it's a spirit or entity that wants to garner some attention from someone.
When the employee working that night noticed the paranormal activity in the store, he was so freaked out by it that he took off running.
You see a kid walking down an aisle, and then the kid runs out, and then through the window, you see him running across the parking lot, and he just got the hell out of there.
It didn't take long for the video of the potential paranormal activity to gain some attention.
In this video, we see small movements. And the first one I thought, okay, if a bag of potato chips flies off of the shelf, maybe it was poorly stacked. And then if another one falls, I think, well, maybe there's a ceiling fan or a vent that is blowing these things off of the shelves. But when the freezer door opens, that takes a lot more force. So there's something going on here that's not just an errant draft that happens to be in the room. There's something more to it than that.
After the poltergeist finished rearranging things, the CCTV camera captured something even more alarming. A spectral figure heading toward that area of the store.
You see this shadow form kind of walking down the aisle and making a turn and going out. Now, was he shopping? Was he trying to do something else? Was this residual or intelligent? It's hard to tell, but you can definitely tell that something was there by the wake left behind.
I love this footage because I can relate to the ghost. What does the ghost want? They want snacks. They want some beers. Ghosts, they're just like us.
This curious capture left some unanswered questions in its wake, like who or what might be haunting this specific convenience store and why.
This is a place where people are in transit. They stop in briefly. They just live a very short part of their life and then they move on to another thing. Who knows, this convenience store might have been the scene of a crime. Maybe there was a stick up at some point. It certainly happens at these places that are open all night.
When it comes to any haunting, one has to consider things on a large scale first. Is it the land? If not the land, is it the building? If not the building, is it the person, or maybe even an item? Now, in trying to focus why the spirit could be haunting a specific location, maybe it's not because it's a convenience store. It's maybe something that was there before it was a convenience store that was causing the haunting.
As it turns out, this particular store is conveniently located across the street from a funeral home, so that might have something to do with it. Regardless, there haven't been any more reports of paranormal activity from the mini-mart since. But should this spirit ever return, there are ways to deal with it.
I suggest that they reach out to local clergy or perhaps a ghost hunting team, see if they can't track down who or what may be haunting the structure and devise a way to either get rid of it or encourage it to move on to somewhere else.
The primary function of a home security camera is to monitor what's happening outside the house and make residents feel safe and secure. But every so often, they capture something that cannot be explained, making some homeowners more on edge than ever.
There's bound to be a big spike in people catching paranormal activity. I don't think more cameras or more eyeballs on the environment are causing more paranormal activity. I think this stuff is happening. We've just got more eyeballs on the lookout for it.
In 2018, Amy Van Gundy from Arvada, Colorado, noticed her motion-activated security camera picked up a suspicious sphere floating into her basement window. About an hour later, that same orb triggered her camera again as it left.
Orbs come in so many different shapes and sizes. They emit all different types of energy. In this clip, it looks like an orb has manifested into some sort of like a smoky ectoplasm and moves through walls.
A lot of skeptical people will say orbs are just dust or a fly, but why would the security camera turn on? A motion sensor security camera isn't gonna turn on if it sees dust, isn't gonna turn on if it sees a fly. It makes you wonder, like, what energy was around this orb that triggered this camera to turn on in the first place?
About a year later, Natalie King from Austin, Texas noticed her Nest Cam capturing a black cat walking by her front door. The cat setting off her motion-activated camera wasn't concerning, but the way it vanished into thin air was.
The cat's really interesting. A lot of the times I've investigated places and I've come across EVPs of dogs or cats or horses when I've investigated stables. And it just goes to show you that even animals have spiritual energy that can manifest too.
I have actually heard of a couple stories of people who have witnessed things like this, where they see a person or animal clear as day, and then all of a sudden they just sort of vanish, like they wipe away. Maybe those are residual hauntings, where we see a moment of when that person or animal was alive, just for that like brief moment of time.
Perhaps the most compelling evidence of paranormal activity captured on a home security camera happened in Kentucky in 2017. Ricky and Pam Carter were watching TV one night when they saw a figure appear on their surveillance camera.
Weird. Something just disappears.
I'm Pamela Carter, and
I'm Ricky Carter.
This is the footage we caught on our security camera.
Weird.
Our security camera is right by our TV, and I had looked at it like 2 or 3 minutes prior, and nothing was on there. And then, like, it looked like something just appeared out of nowhere. And I was like, Rick, look at that. We got to rewind that. And then he come over there, and by that time, the guy had already disappeared. And I walked outside to see if he was down the road. He was nowhere.
Weird. Something just disappears.
What I love about this clip is, DVRs are some of the best ways to capture phenomena. It's a stationary camera. There's no contamination of evidence. There's nobody moving it around. There's no strange light anomalies. There's something that just shows up and disappears right in front of this camera.
Or the camera that's pointed down the road, it didn't pick it up.
If he would have went between the houses, our security camera would have picked him up, and he was gone.
Something just disappears.
There's a figure walking with purpose. He's going somewhere. He's hightailing it through the yard.
What caught my attention, I told Rick, look, that man's marching. I was like, and he's going pretty fast, because he looked like he was like military or something.
If you look closely to this entity that's walking, it's not walking like if it's walking on concrete. Maybe there was a point in time where this wasn't a parking lot and it was just regular kind of like gravelly ground. If you look at his gait, he's kind of walking on and stepping over things that aren't there, which gives me the idea that this is some sort of residual haunt as opposed to an intelligent haunt.
Some skeptics suggested it could be the result of faulty equipment, but the Carters are certain that's not the case.
Right around the time this happened, the camera system was brand new.
Yeah. Some people online was like, well, it's fake because the DVR system's going out. It wasn't that case. We had literally just bought that like a month prior.
If it was really a trick of the camera or some kind of flare or whatever, then the cars in front would have disappeared too. But the car stayed solid, and this, whatever it was, just kind of disappeared as it walked by.
In a final attempt to confirm that it wasn't a trick of the camera, Ricky went outside and walked past it.
I'm pretty skeptical on everything that happens, so we've tried to duplicate it, debunk it, as you would say, because it picked me up all the way, going down the road and everything.
Could tell who he was and everything.
Pamela and Rick's security camera hasn't picked up anything since, but they'll never forget the spirit that once strolled by their home.
It was a good catch. It's like once in a lifetime thing, you know?
There are bone-chilling urban legends that send shivers down one's spine. Bloody Mary, Slender Man, The Hook. Deep down, what aspect of these legends scares you the most? Is it the shock factor, the gory details? Or is it the idea, however far-fetched, that this legend could actually be true? That fear might be the reason why the terrifying curse of La Llorona, the weeping, wailing woman, is one of the most infamous legends in Latin American culture, and why one Colombian village stood frozen in terror when they believed La Llorona came to pay them a visit. The Colombian town of Piedecuesta In the fall of 2017, in the dead of night, residents and local police were drawn to this construction site by what sounded like a woman's blood-curdling screams. The police search in vain for the source of the screams, while the residents huddle in fear, a few of them with only one thought in mind. Could this be La Llorona, the weeping woman?
Hello, my name is Alexander Alvarez Ortiz. I'm the owner of the video, the one who filmed it. That night, I closed my business at around 12:30 at night, 1 in the morning, and I went to the scene of the events. I was there for about an hour and a half. It started with a scream, and then more screams. At which point, I decided it must be the weeping woman, La Llorona.
La Llorona means the weeping woman, and she's probably the most famous ghost legend in Latino cultures.
The story goes that there was a beautiful young woman who kind of suffered from ego and vanity. She fell in love with a foreign man, had children with him, and her love affair with him didn't go so well. The only affection he gave to anyone in the family was to the children. She became incredibly jealous of the children. She ends up throwing her kids into a raging river and immediately regrets the whole thing. And as she tries saving her children, she ends up drowning herself, thus killing the children and herself.
And because she committed the ultimate sins, murder and suicide, she's cursed to forever roam the earth looking for her children.
Children in Piedecuesta.
It created a shock because I wasn't the only one who was scared. There were lots of people scared at the same time. We kind of went into a collective shock. And screams. They were screams like from beyond the grave. Screams that no living person could make.
So this scream is terrifying. Whatever it is, I'm listening, I'm heeding, whatever it is, it's terrifying.
It's definitely what you would think of when you think of La Llorona. All of the witnesses tell of this, this sort of wail.
I think anytime you hear blood-curdling screams, even if you know the source, even if it's a horror movie that you sat down to watch, your blood goes cold, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. You are just in a state of, okay, what's gonna happen next? And here, we're outside. It's just a street, an abandoned building, and you're hearing these screams? Whatever's causing it, it can't be good.
Neither the police, nor any of us, managed to find anyone.
But then, suddenly, the police find what appears to be a dress. Could it really be the weeping woman's nightgown?
A robe appeared, a nightgown. The weeping woman appears with long hair and a robe down to the ankles. And that robe was found there. So what did they do? They poured gasoline on it and set it on fire.
But if this truly belonged to a disturbed ghost, was burning the robe really a good idea?
The last thing you ever want to do is burn a haunted object. And the reason for this is that energy will now be released. The law of conservation of energy says that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It only changes form. So if it's connected to an object, if it is infused in any way with that object, once you destroy it, it now needs someplace to go. It needs someplace to harbor.
But the screaming didn't end there. According to Alexander, the wailing continued night after night for 6 more months, until finally, priests put an end to it.
I went recently and asked the locals. Everything has calmed down now. It's quiet now. Because the priests went, they poured holy water, all that stuff.
Although it's possible the weeping woman has moved on to another town in search of her children, Piedecuesta will not soon forget her screams.
After hearing those screams and those cries, nobody wanted to buy the property, buy the lot. and it was just left there. And it just sits there, empty, still, up to the present time, and right now, that lot is abandoned.
It really speaks to just how unnaturally monstrous we find murdering mothers. I mean, we don't tell these stories about fathers who murder their children. These are stories we tell about mothers who murder their children. And the murderous mother as an iconic figure in folklore, in popular culture, in film and literature is really a thing our society struggles with. So there is no wonder that we have legends cross-culturally about this particular idea. It's one thing to hear about La Llorona, it's another thing to hear her weeping.
Moving into a new apartment should be a happy time, heralding new beginnings. But naturally, there are exceptions. Soon after settling into his new home, Nicholas the Shoemaker began to feel nothing but fear and depression. Something or someone did not want him there and proceeded to make Nicholas's life a living hell. It was the summer of 2017 in Bruges, Belgium. Nicholas the Shoemaker was going through a rough patch in his life and was looking forward to a fresh start in his new place. But a few months after he moved in, Nicholas's mood did not improve. Instead, he began to feel oppressed by his new surroundings, as if he were not welcome.
Holy I'm Nicholas and I filmed the video. It all started 3 months when I moved in that place. When I lived in that apartment, that was at my baddest place for myself, mental, and I had that eerie feeling that something was watching me.
And it only got worse from there. It seemed that the more time Nicholas spent in the apartment, the more depressed he became.
I was getting lonely, I was getting emotional, everything started.
It was then that Nicholas began to experience what seemed to be paranormal activity around his apartment. From sensing something was watching him, to feeling gusts of wind when no windows or vents were open. Eventually, Nicholas started filming these occurrences, helping him come to terms with the fact that what he thought was happening was actually happening.
I said, you know what, we live in the 21st century. I'm gonna take my phone, and if something happens, I can capture it so people don't think I'm going crazy. At that place where my desk was, there were sounds. So I started to film, and all of a sudden, is it the mind playing tricks on you?
This is what's happening right now. Lights going on and off.
I don't know, but your surroundings can be affected by the state of mind or the state of how you are feeling.
If there's somebody here, please make your presence known. Holy.
What made matters even worse was that the more the activity continued, the more stressed Nicholas became. And so on.
I'm done. I want to know what's happening.
But instead of claiming defeat, Nicholas changed his attitude. He had signed a lease and couldn't move. So with all of his willpower, he decided to make peace with the entity.
Put the shower on. Oh my God. Thank you.
We can see him in these videos begin to treat this presence differently when he said, thank you, when it turned on the shower.
Thank you.
He suddenly is grateful. Like this is sort of a, cohabitation situation.
The new change in attitude worked, and Nicholas began to see the haunting in a new light. Perhaps the ghost was not trying to scare him, but instead to make him feel better, to make him laugh. Perhaps it was the spirit of his deceased grandfather.
I had a granddad, and he was always around, and one day he wasn't, and then it all started. So I think it could be him.
Thank you.
I was feeling down, and he was the most positive person ever. So it was like, now you're gonna laugh, you're gonna enjoy life, and as long as you don't, I'm gonna play with you.
Oh my God, what the
The guy swears that it's his grandfather that's just trying to cheer him up and get him through a rough patch in his life. A lot of times this helps people through the haunting process.
Most people, when they're dealing with the supernatural, look for explanations that apply to them. And he's also doing that. He knows someone on the other side who he thinks might have a message for him, might want to communicate with him. I think that's quite reasonable.
But just when Nicholas thought he had it all figured out, he received an email from a former tenant that suggested it wasn't his grandfather after all.
Thank you.
I got an email. There's something buried in your yard. And I thought somebody is with me. So I just thought, you know what? Let's do it. So I started to dig. And indeed, there was a box.
It's a candle, and it's a dead bird.
You get an email, you're going for fun to dig, you never know, and you find that box with a skeleton of a bird, a candle, then you have questions.
Specifically, is this candle and dead black bird a good omen or a bad omen? And does it have anything to do with the haunting?
This could be significant of a request to the Morrigan. The Morrigan is an Irish deity. She's the goddess of war, death. You would make an offering to her either for protection or for something specific, something aggressive. Now, her symbol, her animal, is the crow. And there was a black bird, headless, in that box. The white candle could have been a request to say, hey, I'm seeking for your protection. And this is a very specific thing done, and to bury it, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with him. He just happens to be here and might be suffering those after effects of it.
Lots of questions still remain, but none more important than this one. What caused the paranormal activity? Was it a troublemaking poltergeist? Was it the spirit of his grandfather?
Put the shower on.
Or was it witchcraft?
It's entirely possible that there could be multiple layers of activity, all for different reasons and with different intents. And until he figures out exactly what he's going to do with his life and about that situation, that tug of war may continue.
Nicholas eventually moved out of the apartment and into his dad's old house, where the activity ceased. But one thing's for sure, Nicholas is now a true believer and is ready to face any ghost that comes his way.
Since I live here, it's like much clearer. The mist is gone.